do not adjust your TV sets.
We're very black today.
The pictures are back. I've been trying to get us to like jointly wear black for the last 2 years, and it hasn't caught on yet because Austin feels the need to express his feelings through the colour.
The medium of colour, if you will.
And I'm just like a black lady.
In actual fact, the reason we're playing black today, we should mention something quite terrible has happened.
What?
Our competition has died.
That was really funny.
No, there's no competition. That's why it's funny.
No competition. We don't have competition. We have co-workers.
Co-workers?
Like co-people, like the people, like if you go to work in a working establishment and you have all the people that are doing the same job around you, they're co-workers.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We're not in competition unless there's an incentive to win a free bottle of champagne at the end of the month. But ain't no one offering me an incentive, so I just carry on how I'm
we've
going.
been there and done that.
So, as you'll know from the title of this video, we went to Vinted.
We did.
We used to source a lot of Vinted until we started using Vinted. And we wouldn't recommend you do both on the same account, just saying. Anyway, but when we're
stupid,
because we spend so much time in charity shops and things like that, you just sort of lose. I found that we spend so much time sourcing there that we had no need to use Vinted as a
so I see what you're
method.
saying. So yeah, what you're saying is because we like for example, like lockdown, things like that, times when maybe you can't get out, maybe you've been unwell, whatever, you can't get out, or to be honest, maybe you have a busy life. Yeah, you have 1,000 things going on, so sitting on your butt and doing it from with your phone, your laptop, whatever, your TV, whatever, you can kind of pick some stuff up that way. That's what you're saying, yeah?
Yes. So
online arbitrage, if you will.
Austin was having a little browse, and I was saying to Austin, there's certain brands on Vinted that if you're clever, they're either mislabeled. For example, because of categories on Vinted, you can list your item. If say you were selling a Dior bag, right, you can list it under Dior, or you can list it under Christian Dior. And the most things listed under Christian Dior are the more vintage items that have the labels Christian Dior. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Sometimes also people list as other in general.
Yeah.
So if you're filtering using the filters and not just a search engine, which I know not a lot of people do, but some people do, and I've done it before, you'll come up with items you never knew existed.
So we bought something.
We'll tell you a little bit more about that whole experience and what we did and what we didn't do regards searching things after we opened it. So we'll just get into that first, I think.
Let's talk about our experience using Vinted, though, because I think that's interesting. There's in terms of, so for anyone who doesn't use Vinted, you can send offers or you can just buy straight away. You pay for your item, you then pay a buyer protection fee. So the buyer pays the protection fee. And it covers you for returns and anything like that, lost parcels, anything like that. And then you also pay postage. And every now and then they have like really good postage deals, like all postage $1.99 to lockers or something like that.
And actually, right? I actually think those kind of promotions which happen, they don't happen all the time. They happen quite a lot. They actually do help with sales too, as regards someone selling on Vinted, for sure. Really From our point of view, on the other side of it, for sure.
So how much did you pay for this, firstly?
I paid £8 for the actual item. It was up for 10. I sent an offer for 8. And I also paid whatever the shipping would be. I think it was, I want to say it's either $2.99 for your direct address, or you can, I think it's like $2.29 for a like a locker, an in-post locker. So I think I paid altogether it was £10.29.
So we paid for this to go to a locker. It went to our local Tesco's.
Yep. That's why we have no problems.
It took about a week to arrive, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it wasn't the quickest. If I needed it for something or wanted it straight away to pass straight on to a customer or whatever else, it wasn't zippy. However, I will say most things we've bought on Vinted have been really quick. So I think it was just probably the nature of this particular seller.
Well, the seller has a certain amount of time in which they have to send the item in, and then obviously then it's up to the courier or whoever they sent it with to do their end of the stick. I know, for example, at the moment I've sold something and I'm still waiting for it to be delivered. I literally sent it a week and a half ago.
So when you say that, you mean you've sent it off, shipped it, you've with the courier, it's been locked or whatever weeks ago, and they haven't arrived. And what happens is usually, just a side note on that, Vinted are very, very good in sorting out, because eventually that parcel will get there, and we've never had, touchwood, never had a parcel which just hasn't arrived.
So we wanted to prove a point in terms of the fact that we wanted to show you that you can make really good money on Vinted.
There was someone a couple of days ago, actually, we saw mentioning, I don't know if it was on social media somewhere, I don't know where it was, maybe Instagram, And they mentioned that sourcing on Vinted is a dead thing. People, you shouldn't do it. There's only small margins.
There's not enough margins because of the buyer protection.
And if I could swear right now, that's exactly what I would say, because it's totally wrong. And if you want me to say, am I calling that person out? No, not really. I'm just saying they're wrong. There's a big difference.
It depends.
Their information is incorrect.
For. If you're looking for sort of like trendy trainers, like Nike trainers or something like that, maybe there is less profit now. Maybe there are more people selling. But if you're
still make a couple of quid.
If you're looking for more niche items or more high end items, there's still a lot to be had.
Just think about this, like you just said. If you're looking for niche items, right? The exact word you're using, niche, is something that not everyone's going to be looking for. So on that basis, you're more likely to find something like that on a lower price point. Nike trainers is probably the most generic thing anyone ever sells. So the majority of people searching Nike trainers will come across them.
I've also seen a few people getting bargain Nike trainers recently.
Yeah, of course. And that's why I play into the fact that, when this was mentioned, I just thought it was just an incorrect statement to make. So we're making the point now.
First impressions, this is terrible packing. I know there's some horror stories of vintage packing of like items arriving in black bags, in carrier bags with tape. Yeah. And because of the nature of the item inside, I think there's bubble wrap on it. That's pretty. I would have boxed it personally. I know it was low value in terms of we only paid £8 technically to the buyer. However, that's not the point.
No, it's not. I actually think you make a really good point. Bearing in mind, we'll tell you eventually what the retail of this item would have been. But bear in mind, sometimes what you're buying from Vinted to resell would be higher. Don't forget though, if you're only paying £8 for it, you can only expect so much from that seller. Don't expect a hermetically sealed plastic hard box, then wrapped to be in bubble wrap.
Or you can communicate. You can communicate just like on eBay. My hat is so tight to my head. I'm just letting you know that.
Can you breathe?
No, I think I'm losing brain power there.
Are you actually?
No, I'm fine. You don't have to adjust me.
I will adjust you.
Don't touch my stuff.
Anyway, deal with it.
You can communicate with the buyer and say, "Look, I really want it to get to me in one piece. Can you please put it in a little box?"
Oh,
and most people would think. So obviously we haven't opened it, so let's open it live and in.
Let's open it in view then. It's gonna fall.
Yeah, that's why I don't want it to fall. That's why I'm trying to. Right. Okay. One layer of paper.
And we have bubble wrap.
Fair,
I'm good with that.
Okay. It is one layer of bubble wrap. So that's the item there. You can see it, right? I mean, we can reuse this bubble wrap because they haven't stuck it or anything. ASMR.
The web close. Probably not in the bottom.
Okay.
So this needs a good polish.
Okay, I was just first impression is it. You can tell on my face my first impression.
It's good.
So the clasp is
sprung.
Yeah, it's sprung, and but I'm saying it is.
Oh, it works. Yeah.
It's claspy.
Yep.
I'll tell you what it is, isn't it? Well, that's nice. I don't like it personally for me, but
I think it's really nice. So explain what it is to the folks at home watching.
Right. Okay. So this is a Burberry. Oh, there's the reflection of us. This is a Burberry. It says Burberry here. I promise you, it says the Burberry here.
It needs cleaning once again. It needs polishing the metalwork, but
what I would say it's a bangle. So what I can say from first impressions of just the condition it's arrived in is, if I'm brutally honest, I know it has to be clean, but you could have wet wiped it.
I agree.
Like, it is a bit filthy.
However, this is one thing, like, once again, don't be put off by this kind of thing if you see it, because honestly, most of the time, most people watching this will be intelligent enough to understand the difference between something that needs a wet wipe or something that is totally deteriorated and done for, right? So especially when it comes to like metalwork or something like this. Now, just talking about this bracelet briefly, it is probably roughly around about between 7 and 10 years old. This is not leather, it's actually python, which is an exotic skin, which at the time, I don't think Burberry do exotic skins anymore, which most luxury companies don't, because the whole kind of, the skin issue, if you will, which I totally get and understand, and support actually. This, however, would have been an exotic skin, which anything in an exotic skin from any time the luxury company has made it would be uber expensive, more so than leather, more so than nearly any other kind of material or fabric you can imagine. This would have retailed for how much, Bethany?
It was 400, wasn't it?
No.
600.
It was £1,129.
Why did you just test me when I didn't even know?
I thought you knew.
No.
I thought you knew. Apologies. There are ones online for sale right now for, I want to say for £350-400.
That's where
you know that. I've shown you that. Okay, so once again, this sounds ridiculous, and you might just think, hang on a minute, £8 is like a £1,200 bracelet. Look it up. We'll put pictures in. It's knowing your product. Now, don't get me wrong. Most people, when you're looking for Burberry, you're looking for Novacek, you're looking for scarves, you're looking for Max. The truth of the matter is, these are the things which, put it this way, this at retail would have cost more than the highest of high-end Burberry Mac at that point, especially given the time period. Because at this point, Burberry Macs were probably about, I don't know, 750, 800, maybe £900 maximum. This would have cost more than that. So what I'm saying is, yes, the resale value is a lot higher. The retail value is a lot higher. It will be a lot harder, actually, I'll be honest, to sell, because it's a specific kind of customer, than it would be a Burberry Mac, for example, which are plentiful and loads of people want. Given that, though, this is a much better margin. And once again, try and find me a Burberry Mac for £8.
I know. Well,
impossible.
Well, yeah.
I've never paid £8 in a boots at a charity shop, wherever.
£10 is the lowest we've received one for.
And let's be honest,
that was a boot sale.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a python skin. So python, for anyone who doesn't know, is snake skin. Now, interestingly enough, there's very little dyeing that you can do to python. It's an extremely hard material to dye.
It basically kills the scales.
Yeah, so what they normally do, most coloured snake skin, it will be a rat or a water snake. Which is a sort of a lower cost snake skin, if that makes sense.
Still quite expensive. Well, still very expensive, actually.
It's very similar to crocodile, but crocodile's obviously a lot less. If you think of the skin and the shape of a skin, I don't want to talk about skin too much, but like a long snake skin, that's what you've got to work with, like if you imagine it flat. Whereas an alligator or crocodile is much harder, because there's not a lot of surface area. As much
in actual fact, there's more surface area on an alligator or a crocodile
of the uniform scale.
I was just going to say, on the snake. What you're saying is the actual pieces they would cut out of that skin to use to be uniform, because once again, the belly of it, for example, the belly of an alligator is now useless. The back is now useless. It's kind of the sides and kind of just going around the front of the animal, if you want, is what people use. So that's why this snake, the whole thing would be totally uniform and would be a lot easier to kind of work with, if you will.
So they call this colourway soft gold. So it's when the gold is shiny like that, and it hasn't got much depth or tone to it. It's like a very
almost a silvery gold, I guess.
Yeah, and this will be costume jewellery, so it will not be gold, and in some cases it will not even be gold plated, if that makes sense. A lot of Mulberry's jewellery was gold plated. Do you remember?
It was. In actual fact, they started using what they call gold coloured, which is basically not gold plated at all, but they would kind of plate it or dye the actual metal with something else, or plate it with something else, not gold, but gold colour material, if you will.
So what were you looking? Because this was your purchase, Austin. What would you be looking to sell that for on the open market?
So, like I said, I'm gonna guess this is around about. There's ones for sale right now, and this actually is better condition. Like even just then, just kind of brushing this off, and also I'll just show you quickly inside here. Not that inside here, which I don't think you'll get, but whatever. We'll give.
I got it a bit earlier.
It says made in Italy here, and the actual bracelet. I mean, that weighs, doesn't it? It's a heavy thing. Even this action, you can hear the quality, like the spring loaded, the screws, everything about it screams quality. What I would say is I'm looking for probably around about I reckon about 300 to 350 to resell for that. And we don't have a box, we don't have a dust bag. I'll give it a polish and I'll get it up to kind of A1 standard. But once again, this is like a £1,200 bracelet.
I think what we'll do is we'll make a part 2 video and see how much it sells for.
100%.
So we'll cross list it over to Vestiaire or eBay and Depop.
That's quite big, you know. I've got quite small hands for a guy, but that doesn't close. But it's
meant to be like one size fits all. So even if you wore it open and had like an open look to it, I guess it wouldn't really make a difference. It would still be stylish. So we'll list it over 3 platforms and see who gets a sale. We'll keep the price the same over 3 platforms like we always do. I guess like if you had you could wear it wider open.
Yeah, if you wanted to, for sure. Also, bear in mind, you just said about the different platforms. Also, bear in mind that with that kind of what's the word? That kind of percentage of profit, or what we're looking to make profit-wise on it. A lot of the time, we'll always say like, it could have cost £2, but if it's worth £3.50, get as close to £3.50 as you can. So I could be like, oh, you know what? I paid £8. Let's get 100 quick. We're trying to prove the point that isn't really the way to go. If you're lucky enough or good enough to find something which has massive value, let's not only keep the market up, but let's make more money.
I do actually say as well, let's give our Vinted, this is like a little bonus video, by the way, I don't know if you noticed. So let's give our Vinted tips for buying from Vinted.
Okay,
because I think that's helpful, because even if you're not into like high-end luxury or reselling high-end luxury, the best tips to buy like online arbitrage with Vinted. I'm
going to give the most basic one I can. First things first, right?
I'm a realist.
Anyone gets that reference in the comments. The first thing, whatever brand you're looking for, type the name into the search bar. Then go to lowest price first. You'll be surprised. You'll come across more authentic stuff at a lower price than you will fakes. Because most people trying to sell fakes, either one are trying to palm them off as midway money. So for example, a Chanel bag. Exactly. As a Chanel bag, exactly that. For example, you put Chanel in. I promise you'll have thousands of fakes, I get it. But what I'm saying is the first thing you'll come across, I guarantee, will be an authentic item. It's either a bit trash or scratched or torn, or there will be something there which is authentic for sure. Now, usually, like I just said, if someone's selling a fake Chanel bag, they're not selling it for £7, because if they're selling it for £7, real or not, the point is, if you're selling a fake, they're trying to make money on the fake, and even if they're not trying to say it's real, they still want to make some money. £7 is not going to cut, it's not going to make any difference to them, especially for selling something which they shouldn't be selling. So I always say, go for the very lowest price. And then once you filtered that to the lowest price, go through all the items up to about, give yourself a budget. Like put say £20 your
like
max.
An auction.
Say £20 your max, right? And then once you've done that and you've seen nothing, or you've seen 10 items, whatever, you've seen nothing, right? Worst thing that could happen is you go to 25 and then say to yourself, okay, well, I'm still in the ballpark that I'm happy to spend.
So you can offer.
And you can offer. So that's a really good point. That doesn't mean that if it's in the £25 bracket, it won't cost you 18, 12 if you want to take them in. And I think it's actually, there's a limit on what you can offer officially.
I think it's 40% off the top of my head.
Something like that. It's quite, well, put it this way, it's quite extensive. You can discount an item a lot as regards an offer before they actually say no, you can't offer that. So that would be my first tip. Yours?
Another tip with filtering as well, as that I use personally when I'm doing it, is I filter by newest first. So if you're on the snipe,
good one.
I filter by newest first, and I look regularly. Like if I'm in the mood and in the mindset, I like search for Prada, and I'll search newest in and regularly, because there are people that are on it. And they're waiting for something cheap and something good quality to come up, and they'll buy it. They'll be like... That
reminds me of the pair of Prada, Gucci, the shoes we bought.
Yeah, I've been buying up Prada shoes. I bought a pair of Prada shoes for £9, £11 with postage all in, and I sold them for £275.
Like, once again, like, this isn't necessarily a daily occurrence, but what, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times a month this happens. Like, this is the problem. At the moment, we're filming so much. We're trying to film so much, and we're trying to do so much, to be fair. I'm not complaining. We love it. But what I'm saying is, to do that on top of everything else, just remembering to do it is one of those things.
We can get back in it with you.
But we're trying to pass on something maybe you can do, or maybe try.
My other last big tip is bundles. Sellers offer bundle discounts, so the more items you buy, the more money you get off. So if you can, even for some cases, there's been like a couple of items from a buyer that I really want, and it's like 5 items and you get 50% off. So I pick like 3 other like high street items or whatever,
which you'll make money on,
which technically will be then free, so that I can then resell them and put the money off against what I just paid for the higher end items.
That's a real good point. Also, when you just said that, you just reminded me, the other thing to do as well with that is, because you've you're taking that bundle discount, you'll find there's some people won't mess around with offers. They'll be like, no, I put it for, like, that lady, for example, originally was, I think it was £12 or £10, that bracelet. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, a lot of people at that kind of price point, they're less inclined to make offers. I'll be honest, they do. She did, but a lot of people are less inclined. However, it's irrelevant when you're picking 4 or 5 items, because they've set that already in the store. It's a generic yes. They have to okay it, I know that, but what I'm saying is, you're more often likely to get your offer or a bulk discount when buying those items, because they don't see it as, well, just knock 10 quid off that. They see it as, I'm getting rid of 4 items, let's go, out the door.
Make sure you follow your favourite sellers, you've had a good deal on, because you don't know what they're going to sell next. You don't know what they're going to put up next, if they've got a wardrobe full of sort of certain items.
People are selling nice things.
Or their house clearance companies, or anything like that. Always save your favourite sellers. I have a favourite seller that everyone can look at if they want to, but she sells mulberry, and she used to work for the company, and she uploads loads of Marks and Spencer stuff, and every now and then she'll put up a mulberry item, and it'll be like the most awful pictures I've ever seen. I tell her to her face, they're really bad pictures. It'll be like a jacket, it's completely blurry, but it's a full leather mulberry jacket.
And you know it is.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing. So, for example, because of, like, on eBay, as we all know, the head honcho of all head honchos, everyone is vying for the best photos and the best this and the best the lighting. Which is cool, awesome, do it. That's what you should do. On Vinted, it's still the Wild West. Like, you can literally chuck something on the back of the door and say it's 40 quid. You go on with an offer of 35 or 30 or 25, and it's something which is worth £1,000. And once again, another tip as well is brands. So I know we bang on about research and brands specifically. One thing I would say, at least personally, is you'll find some bargains with Burberry or Gucci or Dior, but you know what? Go a little bit deeper. If you've been told by 10 resellers that, for example, a Z by Zengo, which is a great one, is worth a lot of money, I promise you, 90% of people on Vinted have no clue what Z by Zengo's worth, let alone what it actually retailed for originally.
I want more niche brands. What I do sometimes, and I don't know if this is helpful or not, this is the most snowballing video.
Yeah, but it's fun.
We're just having like a chat with you. It's like an open podcast sort of thing. Sometimes we just want to have a chat.
Why not?
Anyway,
otherwise we have to talk to each other.
I'll go on to Harvey Nichols, or I'll go on Selfridges, and I will just, like, today I'll say, I know this is really sad, but today I'll say I'm doing the A's.
Yep.
And I'll search every A on Selfridges, and I'll learn new brands along the way, and then I'll type brands in that some people know about, some people don't. I'll check what the comps are on eBay and Vestiaire. I'll check what the retail is, and then I'll look on Vinted and see if I can snipe things.
Spot on.
Or like, trends, for example, this is just a quick one, and we're not even talking high end now. I was looking for a certain pair of Zara earrings for the Reseller Summit, which is tomorrow.
When would it be?
Tomorrow or the next day.
Pre-recorded much?
No, because it's going out today, so it's not pre-recorded. It's going out the day we're recording.
Is it going today? It's going out today?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Anyway, I was looking for a certain pair of Zara earrings, and I thought, do you know what? No one searches it. I don't search Zara new earrings on Vinted. So I thought, I'm going to have a look. They're not that expensive retail, but I thought, I might be able to get a bargain.
I'm a reseller,
Anyway, I went on, and there's all these earrings for 100 quid. Honestly, I was like, what?
From Zara, mind you.
Firstly, my heart went into like slow palpitations that I'd been missing a trick my whole life, and I need to buy earrings whenever I'm in Zara. And then I realised very quickly that they were the earrings that Kate Middleton had worn to the BAFTAs or something like that. And
there was a connection with that
flower dangly one. She'd worn them the week before, and every pair of these things were on Zara. I couldn't even find another pair, like a different pair to look at, because the market was flooded, and they were all 100 quid on Vinted. So then you can see trends. Yep. So if say, I don't know, Kate Middleton wears, I know Kate Middleton's a popular sort of fashion icon, really, isn't she? If she wore
she wears it goes
the
big.
Fold dress that we sold recently for 125, you can go look for it on Vinted. So you can look for like specific trends as well,
100%.
from more niche brands. Or I know she wears a lot of like LK Bennett, so you can go and look for certain LK Bennett items and then flip them over onto eBay and Vestiaire.
I do think as well, that's a really good point, the Vestiaire thing even more so. On eBay, if you use eBay, is they're not only the niche brands, but for example, there's a couple of brands or a couple of things we've been looking at personally lately on, like you say, on Harvey Nicks, on Harrods, on this, on that, on the other, right? And these brands are like not very, very new as it, but they're like maybe a few years old. So in regards to the term, in terms of luxury or in terms of designer stuff in general, it's quite new to the scene. You go on eBay, there'll be a couple of pieces, there'll be high prices because they're either new with tags or something that someone's really just paid for, and just, I wore it twice, I'll put it on eBay and just, I'll maybe lose 10 quid, 15 quid, it's still £200. The mad thing is, on Vinted, I don't know how, I don't know if people just don't care, I don't know if they don't want to mess with eBay because of all the different ins and outs or whatever. And I think because Vinted is a little bit of the Wild West, we've had probably the greatest personal pickups as regards luxury items ever on Vinted, bar none.
Oh yeah, but
for like crazy brands most people wouldn't have even heard of.
It's also like dedication. Like I know a lot of people like on their lunch breaks at work, and part timers and things like that, they go through Vinted, and it's such a good like. If I was at work, if I was like in an office, that's what 100%. I would just do it all the time. I wouldn't even go out on my lunch breaks to charity shops. I would just be on like doing online arbitrage. Yeah. And I think retail arbitrage goes to TK Maxx. We've talked about it loads of times. We've done loads of videos on it. It's really popular, but I think online arbitrage isn't talked about enough.
100%. And do you know what? You said something earlier, which actually I'm thinking about now. It was actually lockdown where we started using Vinted a lot more, right? To source, because everyone was selling on eBay, everyone was selling on Facebook Marketplace, everyone was selling on Depop. But Vinted, although people were selling on there, it wasn't so much. Once again, it's not a reseller tool, right? So it wasn't as much a reseller related, but people were selling their things on there. Especially, well, I'll never wear these heels. I'll never do this again. We've been sat at home for 6 months, whatever, right? And I would say at one point, and this is including our actual retail store as well, I think we must have bought about a good 20%, which is massive in regards to how many items we own. 20% came from Vinted online arbitrage, high end.
I think as well in lockdown, there was a lot of people having to go because they were sitting at home and like, oh, I'm going to clear out my wardrobe, I'm going to make some money.
What I'm saying is though,
flooded with items to buy.
Yes, it's only stopped though because we were able to go back out again to boot sales, to charity shops, to however we source. What I'm saying is, I don't think those people selling the items have stopped. I think we've stopped buying them that way.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm saying for us, for everyone else, I'm just saying if you don't want to and you think this is madness, ignore it. Cool. I actually think there's some real value in Vinted. And this was a piece we wanted to show off because once again, this is over £1,000. Bear in mind, I think at the time of, not now maybe, but at the time of selling this item, this would have cost more than an Hermes Click Clack bracelet, which is the iconic H bracelet. That would have cost more in that year than that bracelet would have cost. That's mad.
Fascinating, really. So we'll do a part 2, and when we sell it, you'll be able to see how much we sold it for. And we'll show you it cleaned up as well. And we'll make it look beautiful and we'll make it look wonderful. And then we will revisit the Burberry Bangle dreams and let you know how we get on. I hope this video has been remotely helpful or just like a nice little like chat.
A tidbit, if you will.
Come chat with us.
Is it tidbit or tidbit?
Tidbit. I was tidbit. Come chat with us in the comments.
Deal with it.
Let's talk about buying online in the comments and keep us company.
Let us know if you ever bought anything on Vinted for reselling. Also, let us know the kind of things you look for, because once again, to be honest with you, we're trying to throw as much information as we can constantly. And if people can help other people in the comments, even leave brands maybe people haven't heard of, do that, because it's for the whole community. It's everyone to look in and check on.
A fun, safe space of chatting about reselling, and that's what we love, and we love chatting to you about reselling. So we hope you enjoyed this extra bonus feature video, and if you're not going to the summit, then we won't see you there. But if you are going to the summit,
sad then.
I was going to say that, and then I was like, oh, there's loads of people not going. And...
No, but there were virtual tickets available. If you haven't got those, I apologise. I'm guessing though, at some point or another, that you'll see something on social media about it.
If you follow us on Instagram over at the Luxury Pickers,
and we'll push some stuff towards
you. We will be doing loads of content all through the day, all through tomorrow. We'll be just chatting with you and talking. So if you want to come and chat,
who knows? We might even do a YouTube video on it.
I'm quite chatty. Oh, we'll probably do a YouTube video on it as well. Yeah, of course we will.
Anyway,
it's been lovely knowing you. I'm in like a little chatty, somber mood.
Somber?
Not somber. What's the word? Calm.
Calm.
I think it's because tomorrow the world's about to explode.
So tomorrow, for anyone who doesn't know, we're driving up. We're going to kind of chill out, and then I think Saturday is the big hoo-ha. So hoo-ha. So I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things for us that we've never done this before. Who knows how we're going to go?
Great, guys. It'll be great.
We're ready to rumble, guys. I'm just playing with you.
And I would like all your opinions on my Samuel L. Jackson. No, this is my LL J. Cool hat, isn't it?
Him as well, but also LL Cool J.
What does LL stand for?
Ladies love Cool James. If you didn't know that, now you know. And if you don't know...
Now you know.
Bye.